Hello, my name's Andy. Welcome to episode 92 of Keeping Water. So, by popular demand, thank you for all of those who voted in my recent community post, this episode is going to be all about how I have, hopefully, fixed my Tempest problem. Before I start though, I'll explain why we're just hearing my voice and not seeing me in the usual green screen video behind me. Well, long story short, my PC is really not functioning and my laptop, which I'm editing this on, struggles with anything too complicated. In fact, I'm having to split this video up into sections and edit and compile them separately before then joining the finished parts back up. I'm also going to be keeping this relatively brief. Right, enough of my IT woes and onto my filter ones. If you watched episode 90, you'll have seen my review of the Tempest filter, which I installed in January of this year. If you didn't catch that video, I'll paraphrase it here. The clips supplied to support it to the wall are too flimsy, so I've made my own. It is effective at collecting waste and mostly effective at cleaning the waste away with its usual cleaning function. However, although the guidance says it can be used as a first-line mechanical filter, I found that larger items of waste get caught by the media and then the Tempest cleaning function doesn't flush them away. This results in more and more waste remaining in the Tempest, until even finer detritus gets caught up in it. Consequently, I've needed to take the Tempest apart, as much as it allows, which isn't very much, another issue, and do a manual clean, which is a pain to do and something I'd want to avoid. So I needed to find a fix for that, partly because I didn't want to be taking the Tempest apart and cleaning it regularly, but also as it obviously impairs the efficiency of the filter. So, to solve it, I initially tried flushing the Tempest more often, up to 3 flushes a day. However, that didn't really make much difference as the larger items still collected and remained in spite of how much I tried to clean it. So, I looked for another solution. It seemed that the answer really needed to focus on how best the Tempest works, which is as a polisher after other forms of mechanical filtration. Expensive filters were out of the question. Plus I needed it to be a closed filter rather than something like a sieve. Additionally, there was little space in the filter shed, so it had to be relatively small. The obvious answer, therefore, was a pressure filter. Now, if you've watched episode 76, when I explained why I got a Tempest in the first place, I've had a pressure filter before, and I wasn't keen on having one again. This was mainly due to the cleaning function they come with never seeming to work that well, and as a result I had to regularly disconnect it and take it apart. However, I needed to do something, and even if I did need to take the pressure filter apart now and again to clean it, it would still be easier than doing the same for a Tempest. So, I then started to search on eBay, Facebook Marketplace and some other online places to look for a second-hand pressure filter, as I was never going to afford a new one. Eventually I found an Oasi 6000 Filso Clear, and from a really good seller too, who supplied brand new foams for it, spare parts, and generally sold it in an excellent condition, all for a decent price too. It was almost the perfect size, but not quite, being just a little big, but with some tweaking I managed to get it in place amongst the pipework, which already resembled a mess of spaghetti. Getting the pipework sorted was even trickier. Getting the input from the splitter was relatively okay, just a couple of 180s made up of 290s each. The output to the Tempest wasn't straightforward. I had to run it behind the Tempest outlet pipe, run at 180 degree, and then into the Tempest input. I wanted to have the waste permanently connected, so that meant running the pipe from the filter to the drainage pipework, which I cut to add another T-piece, which I then connected the pipe from the filter. As with when I put the filter shed together, and either because I'm getting better or just luckier, I didn't have any leaks afterwards, and water flowed from the splitter through the pressure filter and into the Tempest with no problems. Aside from having to open the feed through the splitter a bit more, and also turning up the Vari-Pump about 5% to get approximately the same flow through as before. So, how's it gone? Well, after 5 days, this was the Tempest after absolutely no cleans. So, on top of preventing large items of detritus getting through, it's doing a good job of stopping some finer stuff too. So, pretty happy so far. Time will tell how well it works in the future and how easy or not it is going to be to clean. I do think the combination of the two, obviously in conjunction with the multi-bay, is going to give me as effective a system of mechanical filtration as I can have, considering money and space. Happy days. Thanks a lot for watching this episode of Keeping Water. I realise it's a bit brief, but you know, IT gets in the way, and I really do appreciate you watching. Not a lot else to update about the pond really though. The leaf netting is on and doing its job. The fish appear fine and still quite peckish. As I mentioned earlier, I've 3 more ideas for future videos, which, as long as this hasn't proven too onerous to edit on my sluggish laptop, I hope to get done over the next few weeks. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.